Playing the original Half-Life was a surprising experience. I played Half-Life 2 first, which I was amazed by. But Half-Life was equally, or even more stunning than its successor at parts. One thing Half-Life and all the other Half-Life based games like Team Fortress Classic and Counter-Strike 1.6 did much better than Half-Life 2 is the directional sound.
Greetings! I wonder if I should run that test again. Get away from there, Freeman. I'm expecting an important message.
Hey, Mr. Freeman. I had a bunch of messages for you, but we had a system crash about 20 minutes ago, and I'm still trying to find my files. Just one of those days, I guess.
In the Gold Source games, you can accurately tell where a sound is coming from. Have you ever noticed the directional sound in Half-Life, Counter-Strike 1.6 or Team Fortress Classic? Surround sound is something many games nowadays lack. Surprisingly, we had realistic sound simulation years ago. This technology isn't as new as you might think. But anyways, this is maybe a topic for another video. Another thing that surprised me in the original Half-Life was that different environments actually impact the sounds produced in-game. In some rooms the sounds are dry, in others they are louder and sound more tinny and metallic, like in ventilation shafts. The directional and spatial sounds aside, Half-Life features an amazing soundtrack that really is unique and can be listened to outside of the game, and really creative and memorable sound effects. The sound effects and music were made by Kelly Bailey, a concept artist, sound designer, composer, musician, game designer, and programmer at Valve, who isn't only responsible for the first Half-Life sound design, but the entire series. Oh, and Gordon appearance is based on his face, but that is off topic. Kelly Bailey also worked on character speech and DSP reverb effects. DSP is short for Digital Signal Processor. Those DSP reverb effects were most likely used to alter existing sound effects in certain areas to simulate sound reflection, without there actually being any. So, depending on the room you're in, the sound effects would be overlaid on the actual sound itself. What exactly is a DSP, you might ask? I did some research and will give you a very basic explanation on what it actually does. A DSP captures sounds, whether analog or digital, and then processes them and finally places them back. For a more detailed description, check out the description below. Another thing worth mentioning about the sound effects and music in the game are the ambient soundtracks and effects. Those are made quite well and utilized to the fullest extent in the game, because it kind of is a survival horror shooter at parts, especially in the beginning. The ambience really is a big building block for creating a very good atmosphere in this game. And this is what Half-Life 1 really does best: atmosphere.
That's odd.
The majority of the sounds present in the game files are 8-bit mono wave files, so if you want to mod Half-Life, look out that you actually use the right sound format. It must be 8-bit mono wave file audio, otherwise it maybe won't work properly in-game. Interestingly enough though, music is played in MP3, and that is possible due to a third-party software mentioned in the audio menu. The voice acting in the game is a bit hit or miss for our modern standards. It's mostly good, but there are some memorable lines in Half-Life that tend to get quoted a lot as an example for bad line delivery. For instance, the "in the test chamber" line.
Here you are. We just sent the sample down to the test chamber.
We've boosted the anti-mass spectrometer to 105%. Bit of a gamble, but we need the extra resolution.
The administrator is very concerned that we get a conclusive analysis of today's sample. I gather they went to some lengths to get it.
They're waiting for you, Gordon, in the test chamber.
When it comes to voiceover work, it's rather simple. Gordon is a mute protagonist, and the security guards, scientists, and military units all have a single voice actor respectively, or at least very few. It could be considered a bad thing, but it undeniably gives the different character types a certain personality. For example, the security guards, or Barneys as they are called, tend to talk in a very specific undertone and seem kinda annoyed most of the time.
Aim for the head if you can find it. Didn't you already ask me that? That'll look nice in my trophy room.
While we are at the topic of voice acting, let's take a look at the Vox Announcement System in Half-Life.
Hello, the Automatic Diagnostic and Announcement System welcomes you to the Black Mesa Research Facility. Remember, have a secure day.
Vox is an announcement system used in the Black Mesa Research Facility, and it works in an interesting way. The actual speech by Vox is not computer-generated. It was pre-recorded and then edited. Every word Vox can say is saved in a TXT file, so when Vox actually speaks, it uses the text file as a reference to produce the audio in-game. This approach is also utilized for the soldiers in the game. You can also type in your own text Vox says in the console. Well, only words that are actually recorded, of course, due to it not being a text-to-speech program, which is kinda sad. I have linked a video in the description detailing how this works exactly. Let's not forget the iconic G-Man, one of the most famous Half-Life characters and most mysterious. His voice work is really unique and focuses a lot on strange emphasis on different sounds and strange pronunciations. The creepy and kind of alien G-Man was nailed perfectly. Listen for yourself.
The border world, Zen, is in our control for the time being, thanks to you. Quite a nasty piece of work you managed over there. I am impressed.
The Half-Life series is also known for its many cut features and content among the fans that still hope for a third game in the series, and there actually are quite a few audio files that did not make it into the release version of Half-Life. The most interesting cut audio files are the additional HEV suit lines. Apparently the HEV suit would have been much more chatty and would always tell the player what it does, or when the player picks up a weapon, or even tell the player what time it is. Maybe it was a good decision to leave this feature out, due to the suit potentially getting more and more annoying. But considering that there are lines of the HEV suit turning voice commands on and off, it most likely would have been an optional feature. You can check out a collection of the missing sound files by clicking on the link in the description below. How does all this come together though? Well, to put it simply, really nicely. The game feels believable and the audio helps quite a lot here. The weapon sounds make the game fun combat-wise, the Vox Announcement System sets a creepy atmosphere, and the sound effects used for interacting and healing are so memorable that they get stuck in your head. Yes, the audio is a bit rough at parts, but I would urge you to still appreciate the game for what it offers and did right. The audio may not be as crisp, but Half-Life offers a still impressive directional and spatial sound system, memorable sound effects and voice acting, and an amazing soundtrack that complement the game really nicely. If you never played Half-Life before and you're put off by its graphics, maybe play it for the sound instead. Either way, it really is worth it.
Welcome to the HEV Mark IV protective system for use in hazardous environments. Conditions where high-impact reactive armor activated. Atmospheric contaminant sensors.
A big shout out to DumbTruckDS or SmashCut Creative on Reddit for the support he has given me. Thank you for the feedback and resources that you provided me. Have a good one, dude.